Hi, my name's Chris Thomas, and this is a series called Electronic Basics for Everybody, where we're going to try and explain electronics in a way that could be understood by the average person, by anybody. And today we're asking the question, what is a computer? A personal computer is an example. There's laptop computers, tablet computers, smartphones are computers. Anything is a computer. And all these things are basically a machine that gathers, stores, sorts, and shows you data. Now then, there is an electronic brain that lives in all of these devices. Some of them call them a central processing unit, also known as a CPU, or a microprocessor, or a microcontroller, or even in the case of multiple core devices, multiple processor devices, they're called cores. There's 9 or 10 cores in some of the latest computers. But they all do the same thing: gather, store, sort, and show you data. And this is how that works in layman's terms. You can basically think of a computer as this little mechanical brain, which is like a little mechanical person who is like sitting at a desk in an office. And if you can also imagine, this little mechanical person has a wind-up key. And the faster you turn the key, the faster our little office person will work. And as it turns out, we can turn those things incredibly fast, incredibly hard to make our little fellow work incredibly hard these days. Due to newer technologies that are out there. But basically, what we will start calling a brain, or a CPU for short, a mechanical brain, when they were first invented, you could wind them up to about 10,000 actions per second, or 10K. And the CPU I'm using in this computer is capable of taking an incredible 2.5 billion actions per second. And this number of things a CPU can do in a second is called its frequency, or clock frequency, and it's usually measured in hertz, and nowadays it's gigahertz for times a billion. And anyway, it's the ability to make our little office people go so fast that gives computers their most amazing capabilities. So you're thinking, exactly what can this little person do so quickly? Well, I'll answer that. Remember, they're gathering, storing, sorting, and showing information. And so in this little analogy, let's say our little office person, our CPU, is doing something like, let's say, your taxes. So that means our CPU needs to get out the tax forms, follow the directions, collect the receipts, enter them into all the worksheets, all that fun stuff that we have to do every year. And so as our little CPU person gathers up these documents and tries to figure them out, another big factor related to his performance, how fast he can do it, is how much space he has to spread them out and examine them. For if you have just a little bit of desk space, your little CPU is continually flipping through the papers, trying to find what it wants to look at. But with lots of desk space, the CPU can see much more at a time, and it doesn't have to waste its time flipping around through papers, and therefore gets a lot done in a lot shorter time. And this factor can be even more important than how fast you wind your person up. So the amount of desk space our little CPU has is exactly like the amount of memory a real CPU has. A kind of memory called RAM, which is short for random access memory. And RAM is made out of the same sort of silicon chips that a CPU is made of, and it sits right next to it. And as you can see, more table space equals more RAM, which equals getting things done a lot quicker. And it's important that we have enough RAM to do what we're trying to do. Now, another thing we need to remember is that all of these things need electricity to function. So even if we have our little fellow with his table space, i.e. your CPU with a lot of memory doing things, if you lose power for even just a second, everything disappears. All the papers just blow away and everything's lost forever. So we need a contingency for that. We need some way to store the data when the power goes out or when we turn the computer off. And so for an office person, it would be a file cabinet, right? A guy would go to work, get his papers out of his file cabinet, put them on his desk, do a bunch of work, gather them all up, put them back in the file cabinet, shut it, and go home. And that's exactly how our computers works. He's going to get out all of his data, out of RAM, put it out here, put out of the file cabinet, put it into RAM and work on it, and then put it back in the file cabinet. And this file cabinet we'll call a hard drive. And there's lots of different kind of drives. Plenty of drives are no longer hard drives at all. They're simply a collection of chips. We won't get into that today. But basically, I just wanted to lay down the fundamentals. That our computer is really an electronic device called a CPU that gathers, stores, sorts, and displays data that's kept in RAM while it's working on it, and then stored away in the hard drive for safekeeping. That is the best basic description of a computer I can give you that really only requires a basic understanding of an office worker. Now, if there's more office workers, you could have more work done. I see that sort of thing in multi-core processors. But wait, yeah, there's a lot more to talk about here. There's, in addition to hard drives, there's compact discs, digital video discs, there's even floppy drives, PCI buses, USB, serial ports, graphic cards, SD-RAM. People have scanners. People hook up video cameras to their computers. I have both sitting right here. And it's all, I could Photoshop that, or I could put this on YouTube. Let's put this on our Facebook page. Or they are on Instagram. They use those little square barcodes, and people are Googling this and Googling that. And the president is, what is he tweeting today? And or is the market crashing? How would we know? And what sort of computer should we use to get there? Well, we are going to continue to explore that. I have been working on this technology stuff for more than 25 years. And people close to me are telling me that I have a knack for explaining it. So I've tried my best to do that, and I intend to do that in more parts as we go on in more increasingly complex terms as we go through this. And in order to build on those foundations, we need folks to like and subscribe my videos. I can give this away for free, and there's plenty of more information out there. There is a lot of information out there, and I'm willing to do the videos, but if folks don't watch it, then I won't bother. So if you want to see more, subscribe, and like will help a lot. I appreciate you taking your time to watch my video, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks a lot. Krista A. Thomas, Electronic Basics for Everybody.